Let's cross over to Cape Town in South Africa now, where the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Van Rooyen, says work is on track to enable him to declare the drought in some parts of the country a national disaster by next month. 3 provinces, the Western, Eastern and Northern Cape, are the worst affected with drying out dams. Mr. Van Rooyen has been briefed in a meeting of Parliament's Water and Sanitation Committee. He heads the inter-ministerial task team set up to deal with the crisis. Meanwhile, an environmental scientist, Dr. Anthony Turton, has asked the government to begin the depoliticization of the water crisis as a starting point for resolving the problem.
I think the important thing is that we must learn a very quick lesson from this, and humans learn very quickly. The first thing we must learn is that we have to depoliticize water. This has been created by a political crisis. And by depoliticizing water, we can now bring the technical people into the fore. There's a huge amount of technical knowledge, not only in South Africa, across the entire continent of Africa. We understand how to manage water, and those people have, to a large extent, been constrained by the political process. Now's the moment for those people to come forward and to depoliticize this process by enabling the technical expertise of the country and the continent to do what it's been trained to do.
I think the situation in Cape Town clearly has got to a point where it needs an urgent intervention. But I think at the end of the day, we should not be looking at it as a doom situation, but rather as an opportunity for us to draw up a plan which could fundamentally enable the growth of that region and the country ultimately.
Staying in South Africa, the governing party, the ANC, says it has held fruitful and constructive talks with embattled President Jacob Zuma. This comes after Parliament postponed a top-level meeting which was expected to decide on President Zuma's political future. The president is under growing pressure from members of his own party to resign amid corruption allegations. South Africa's local media says that he's prepared to quit only if the right terms are negotiated. The formal National Executive Committee meeting is now scheduled for February the 17th and the 18th. Away from South Africa now to Ghana, where planned protests over rising fuel prices have been criticized by industry regulator. According to the National Petroleum Authority, the planned action is orchestrated by the lobby group, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, and the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, which is unjustified. The NPA adds that it has made price stabilization interventions over the past 3 months, calling the decision to protest anything but noble. The price of petrol rose by 40% in January. Now a further 2% increase has been predicted for February by the Institute of Energy Security. A protracted civil war in South Sudan continues to interrupt basic medical services and supplies for millions who need it in the country. In the Western Equatorial region, displaced families struggle to access healthcare services in the few facilities that remain open.
The main hospital in Kotobi, in South Sudan's Western Equatorial region, lies deserted and vandalized, a sign of how the country is struggling to provide basic services such as healthcare following years of conflict. Kotobi lies about 200 kilometers from South Sudan's capital, Juba. Lack of access to healthcare has made things worse for displaced people who have little or no food, access to clean water, or adequate shelter after fleeing to escape fighting. The conflict has claimed tens of thousands of lives and driven about a third of the population of 12 million from their homes. The war has seen hospitals and other healthcare centers destroyed. Only 22% of South Sudan's health facilities are fully operational. A team from the United Nations mission in South Sudan recently visited Kotobi to assess the situation there.
The health facilities are so dire. We have learned that in the recent past, some pregnant women died because they could not have access to medical services. We have learned also that some children died because of hunger. And with this kind of situation, it is appalling to us, and we are very much concerned.
About 40 kilometers away in Lewitown, a health center is working to provide services where possible and serving patients from nearby towns as well. According to the United Nations, nearly 7 million people from South Sudan need emergency aid such as food, water, and basic medicines due to a protracted civil war in the country.
Still to come on the program, West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS issues sanctions on 20 Guinea-Bissau politicians and businessmen. Do join us again.